Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Okay, so be honest. Have you ever felt like you're completely drowning in a sea of raw data, just staring at endless spreadsheets and wondering how on earth to turn all that information into actual strategic value? Well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're going to trace a super clear, logical path from the absolute bare bones basics of data all the way up to advanced strategic thinking. We are unpacking a learning structure that takes scattered information and transforms it into highly focused business intelligence.
Now, it all kicks off with a really simple premise, which is getting exposed to the introduction to data. I mean, think about it. You can't build a skyscraper without pouring a solid foundation first, right? And you absolutely cannot leverage information strategically without exposing yourself to the core concepts of what data actually is. We're talking about pure data literacy here. It's about getting comfortable with the raw materials, figuring out where data comes from, what format it takes, and how it gets captured, way before we ever attempt to start molding it. So here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll be climbing rapidly through 4 key areas. First, an introduction to data fundamentals. Second, the methodology of quality and cleaning. Third, the relation to business analytics. And finally, number 4, reaching strategic data maturity.
Let's dive straight into Section 1 and establish that critical baseline, Introduction to Data Fundamentals. I want you to think of this entire progression as a 4-step staircase. We start right at the bottom with foundational exposure in Step 1, just gathering our raw materials. But we don't just hang out there. We immediately move up to the actionable how-to in Step 2, which acts kind of like our refining factory. Then we apply that refined material to the business in Step 3, and finally we arrive at global enterprise maturity in Step 4. The kicker here? Each step relies completely on the structural integrity of the one right before it. You simply cannot leap straight to the top of the staircase. You gotta take the steps in order. Now, to ensure that introductory information is actually usable, we move up to the next vital step, which is Section 2, Methodology, focusing specifically on quality and cleaning. So what is data quality? Basically, it's the methodological standard that determines the reliability of your information. It's literally exactly like inspecting raw lumber before you build a house. If the data you've collected is full of duplicate records, weird mismatched formats, or just glaring inaccuracies, well, your final structure is totally going to collapse. When business leaders make decisions based on bad data, they get bad outcomes. Mastering data quality means really understanding the strict criteria required to ensure every single piece of information you rely on is accurate, consistent, and fully trustworthy.
And if quality is the standard, while cleaning is the action. Data cleaning is the active methodology of scrubbing out the errors so the information actually meets those strict quality standards we just established. In the real world, this looks like standardizing your dates so they all follow the same month, day, year format, filling in or dropping missing values, and deleting redundant duplicate files. It's a really rigorous refinement process. Mastering this active methodology is absolutely crucial, because without it, any analytics or strategic initiatives that follow will be deeply compromised by junk data. Connecting that refined, squeaky clean data to its actual operational purpose brings us to Section 3, Relation to Business Analytics. There is a super direct, vital relationship happening here. On one side, we have our meticulously cleaned, high-quality data. On the flip side, we have business analytics, which is the strategic application of that data to drive real-world decisions. One literally feeds the other. Whether a company is trying to predict customer churn, optimize a massive global supply chain, or personalize marketing campaigns, effective analytics is completely impossible without clean data acting as the fuel. But by the exact same token, having servers stuffed with perfectly clean data is essentially pointless if you aren't plugging it into an analytics engine to uncover insights. They're just two halves of the exact same strategic equation. All right, let's move to our final section and see how all of this builds to the absolute peak of the curriculum. Section 4, Reaching Strategic Data Maturity. Data maturity is the ultimate destination. It means you've moved way past basic exposure, past just scrubbing spreadsheets, and even past running isolated analytics reports. True data maturity implies this holistic, deeply ingrained culture where data drives every single strategic layer of an organization. In a mature environment, you aren't just reacting to past numbers. You've got predictive models, real-time dashboards, and automated insights woven into the literal fabric of daily operations. It is the absolute gold standard, where data stops being just an IT task and becomes the core asset driving the entire business forward. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a pivotal question to really chew on. Where does your own data maturity stand today? Are you still in the weeds figuring out the methodologies of standardizing and cleaning? Or are you actively bridging that gap toward true predictive strategy and enterprise maturity? Think about where you currently sit on that 4-step progression we climbed today and what it'll take to reach the next level. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack these powerful concepts. Keep structuring your knowledge, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next explainer.